I had the fortune to be here on the Super Bowl. Yeah, last
Did you
week.
notice who won?
Yeah.
Who won? I forgot.
I think it was the Chiefs, right?
Oh, it was Kansas City. It was us, of course. But you know, there's something strange about Americans.
Tell me.
Well, there's many things. When we have a national championship, we call it world champions.
World champions, right?
I think only Americans do that. When we have football, American football, national, we're only national champions.
Yeah.
We say world.
Okay.
When our baseball has national, we go world champions. When our basketball, world champions. We're Americans. That's weird. Isn't that kind of weird?
Yeah, you like each other, right? You like yourself.
Or some, yeah, we like something that's not entirely good.
But all the time, people are telling me about a Bob Jones prophecy that involves the Chiefs winning the Super Bowl. What is this prophecy? What did he say?
This is so strange.
Yeah.
I met Bob Jones 40 years ago, March 7th. So we're at the end of February. So in about 2 weeks is my 40-year mark of meeting Bob Jones. I was a young pastor, 27. I'm 67 now. That's 27 plus 40.
Okay.
67. There's how it worked. And I had a young adult church, and he walked in, and he was strange to me and said all these things. I won't go into that right now.
You didn't know him?
No. I was.
But had you heard about him?
No.
Okay.
Yes, no. A man, a 60-year-old man. I had a young adult church of about 500 people, some number like that. And this old man in his 60s. I can say that because I'm in my 60s. But he was an old man to me. He said, there's a prophet in Kansas City that has seen this ministry. I thought, whatever. I thought it was flattery that this guy wanted to get on our platform so he could give prophecies. I go, nah, I'm not interested. He said, would you meet him? And I said, actually, I don't want to. Not really. And this old man came to me 2 weeks later and said, I'm really serious. You need to meet this man. He's had many visions about a young ministry that was coming to Kansas City in the spring of 1983, and that's you. I don't accept that. I said, no, I really don't want to. He came the third time. And I said, because you're 60s and I'm 20s, just because you're old and I'm young, I will respect you.
Okay.
I'll meet this man for 15 minutes. He goes, I think you'll be surprised. I go, 15 minutes. I'm not that important, but I didn't want to meet. I had all these new young people at our new church, young adult church. We were all excited. And Bob Jones walked in. And I thought he was in his 60s. He's an old man. He was actually just in his 50s, but he looked way older to me. When you're in your 20s, sometimes
everyone is old.
Yeah, that's what I thought. And he said all these things, and I did not believe one word he said. Not one.
Really?
Not one word. He told me you're going to have 24-hour prayer with singers and musicians.
So the first time he prophesied about this.
Yes. I didn't want 24-hour prayer with singers and musicians. Are you kidding? No. I wanted a young adult church that led 5,000 people to Jesus in my city.
Okay.
All in, these DNA groups, these home groups,
yes.
and leading their friends to the Lord in the marketplace.
That was your vision.
I didn't want prayer meetings. I did prayer meetings, but I didn't really like them, to be honest. We were doing daily prayer meetings, but I only did prayer meetings because I thought I had to endure prayer meetings to have revival. I didn't like prayer. I liked revival.
Okay.
And
it's
my idea,
I have to pay this to get
that. If I have to do boring prayer meetings, I will, but I don't want to. And he said, you're going to have 24-hour prayer. I thought, you got the wrong man. This is not me. With singers and musicians. I said, no possible way. And he said, you're going to pray for Israel. I didn't care about Israel. And he said, and you've heard the story, he saw smartphones. This is March 1983. He said, all over Asia, they're going to be watching singers and musicians in Kansas City on unplugged TV sets in their hand.
Oh, man.
I said, unplugged TV sets all over Asia. I said, get this in my head. Get this man out of my office. I said, no. And he said, he goes, "Are you a singer and a musician?" I said, "No. He said, "Oh, I thought you would be because I saw you leading this multitudes of young people, singers and musicians." I go, "No." He goes, "Do you pray for Israel?" I go, "Never. I thought the church was Israel, spiritual Israel." I said, "What do you mean?" He goes, "I saw these unplugged TV sets all over Asia. Are you got a bird for Asia?" I go, "No." He said, "So you don't know anything I'm telling you?" I go, "No." He said, "The Lord told me you would be dull. I did not think you would be this dull." He really said that. I said, "What do you mean?" He goes, "This is what I mean right here." He goes, "You don't know anything I'm saying." But then he said later, I thought this was stupid, to be honest.
Okay.
I really did. Because I'm a Bible guy. I'm not a prophesy. If something happens in the park, then that means revival's coming. That doesn't make sense to me. And he said, when the Chiefs win the Super Bowl again, God's going to have an appointment at the Arrowhead. Arrowhead's the big stadium, the big city stadium, the 80,000 stadium. God has an appointment for the city in the Arrowhead Stadium when the Chiefs win the Super Bowl.
Oh, man.
I go, "What does that mean?" He goes, "I don't know." Well, many years later, that was 1983, so almost 40 years later, 2 years ago, in 2020, the Chiefs won the Super Bowl. That's the second time ever.
Oh, the second time ever?
There's been 57 Super Bowls. We won 1970 and 2020, 50 years exactly.
50 years exactly.
And that's the year where Andy Bird, Arrowhead Stadium called Andy Bird and said, "Would you use our stadium?" They called Andy.
Oh, my God.
And Andy talked to Lou Engle, and Lou said, "In my 30 years of doing stadium events, they never call Christians because the city gets criticism if they have Christians because the secular news, how come this, how come that, they get criticism. So they kind of push back on Christians, using stadiums. Billy Graham maybe is an exception. But Arrowhead called Andy the year we won the Super Bowl, and we went to Arrowhead Stadium, and I thought, maybe it's a real word, because all the years I thought, I don't know, because it was took 38 years to happen. I don't know. And people ask me for years, when we win the Super Bowl, I go, who cares who wins the Super Bowl? I mean, I like our football. That's fun. Yay. And then it's over, and then I'm about the kingdom of God, not football teams, although I like football. But when we won, and the same year Arrowhead called Andy, and we met in Arrowhead Stadium, I went, the Send. And many from Brazil were connected to us because, the Send was at Brazil,
Brazil
3
was
stadiums,
crazy,
I thought, maybe that was really true because he said other words over the years, which I couldn't make sense of. To act like everything he said happened, that's not true. That would be exaggerated.
Okay.
I have about 25 stories of things he said that were remarkable, but many words he said, I didn't even know what they meant. So did they happen? I don't know. I couldn't even remember them, to be honest.
Yeah, but let me ask something. Do you usually write down?
No. Yes, no, yes, no. Meaning 3 times. Wait, it's been 40 years.
Yeah.
So I think it's 5 times. Wait, this is bad.
Okay.
But 3 times for sure. But this is bad because I'm a little tired. I've been up very many hours today. I had a dream, and that very day, Bob called me and told me,
The dream.
You had a dream, and told me what it was. That happened at least 3 times, maybe 5 times. I have to think for a minute. Over 40 years, he never missed that ever. Never. And I have maybe 3 to 5 spiritual dreams a year, so that was very rare to have a dream. Not every time, but 3 times at least. The next day, that day, he said, last night I saw your dream. And I didn't go, yay! I never, ever encouraged him. I said, like what? And in my heart, I was going, and he told me, I wrote those down.
Okay.
When something happened that had supernatural confirmation, I wrote it down.
Okay.
But if he gave me just a word, I mean, you know how many people give words to people?
Yeah.
I'd be spending all day long writing words down.
I mean, because you like said the first time he prophesied, you said, I don't know, but you
No,
remember, right?
Not. Oh, I don't know. I thought it was wrong.
Okay, but you remember, but it stuck with you.
Oh, it was so bizarre. I mean, 40 years ago, you're gonna have 24-hour prayer with singers and musicians. I never heard of such a thing.
Okay, it was so bizarre that you memorized.
Unplugged TV sets in their hand all over Asia. How could you forget that? Wade told me 2 more things too that day. Wade told me like 20, but I'll tell you 2 more. He said, I'll tell you more. He goes, when you're have 24-hour prayer, and he told us we would be on Harry S. Truman's property, you know, the president, because Harry S. Truman was the man God used for Israel to become a nation.
Oh, okay.
He goes, God's going to give you Harry S. Truman's property. That was really stupid to me because that was far away from our church. I go, I don't want Harry S. Truman's property. And we received Harry S. Truman's property as a gift. We got 160 acres on the highway. We have his property.
Really?
Yeah, and we got it 50 years to the day that Harry S. Truman sold it to a Jewish family. The Jewish family, we got it from them 50 years to the day or to that weekend. January 27th, 1958, January 27th, 2008, 50 years to that weekend. But the day I met Bob, he told me that was going to happen. He goes, you'll get Harry S. Truman's property.
And are you using for something?
Oh, yeah. We got, yes.
You have
that's
there.
for another day. Well, I'll tell you that story.
Okay.
But the reason he said Harry S. Truman, President Truman, I didn't know much about him. He was before I was born. You know, he was in the 40s. I was born in the 50s. And he said he was the man God used for Israel to become a nation. I'd heard that. Okay. The one Gentile leader, the main Gentile leader in the earth that caused them to become a nation in 1948. I said, okay, so what?
Huge.
He goes, he was a political intercessor for Israel, but he did not know it. You will be on his property as spiritual intercessors for Israel. He told me this 40 years ago. I went, I don't want to be on his property. It's not in the area of my local church. It's in a different part of town. I don't care about Israel. I don't want singers and musicians 24/7. I don't believe in unplugged TV sets. Because he said they were in rice paddies all over Asia. Rice paddies. He said, I don't mean the sophisticated technology. I'm talking about the poor will have it. All millions.
Wow. And it's like this. Everyone has it. Yeah.
But then he told me 2 more things. He goes, I'll tell you what else will happen. When you're on Truman's property, which we have now, we got it in 2008. We have the property and we got it free. We have 160 acres of his property on a major highway. It's worth millions of dollars. Didn't pay a dime to get the Truman property. It's a big story. I won't tell it, but 50 years to the weekend that Truman sold it to the Jewish family. We got it. I was blown away by that. And because the man that paid for it for us gave it to us as a gift, he said the Lord said it was a Jubilee property, that it would be for the intercession movement for Israel. The property would return to its rightful owner, the intercession movement for Israel. Anyway, that's too big of a story to...
So good.
I don't know that I probably lost half of you on that story. I've told it many times. But then he told me, well, maybe 20 more things, but I'll tell you 2. He said, in that day, when you're on that property, they'll have an abortion pill they sell over the counter, and they will not even need a doctor. You'll just go up to the store and buy it over the counter. This is 1983.
Yeah.
Abortion became legal in America in 1973. So it's new to us. And I said, sir, do you know what abortion is? He goes, of course I know what an abortion is. I said, you can't have an abortion with a pill. This is 40 years ago. He goes, when you're on Truman's property, they will. This man is absolutely out of his mind. Unplugged TV sets. I'm going to get Harry S. Truman's property, which I don't care about. I'm going to have 24 hours of singers and musicians, which I don't want. He said, I'll tell you one more thing. Well, again, he told me 20 more things, but he said the homosexuals will come out of the closets, okay? And they will parade in the streets with the support of governments around the world. Now, we had a gay parade in San Francisco, in 1983 and the years before. I said, the government doesn't care. Yeah. Why does the government care? He goes, I don't know. But the day is coming. The governments around the earth will support the gay parades. I went, that doesn't even make sense to me. all of that happened. And so
Man.